What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another player ratings video, this time from our brand new studio setting. Loving the studio, Sim.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited to be making videos here. It's great, absolutely fantastic. It's why maybe a bit delayed new player ratings, getting this studio ready, but we're going to be recording a lot more videos here in this new studio. I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly. So obviously this weekend we took on Palace at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with a resounding 4-0 victory. Let's get straight into the player ratings.
We'll start Hugo Lloris. We gave him a 6. Everything he had to do, he did pretty easily. He didn't have too much to do, seeing as Palace were barely in our half, really. He had a few routine saves to make, a couple from Zaha, and I think there was a header, it was from Jordan Ayew, which he parried. But other than that, it was an easy day at the office for Hugo.
Yeah, there's one negative thing I'd like to say about Hugo, and that's his distribution yet again. I thought that was early on. He kind of gave the ball straight to Palace, but fortunately it didn't lead to a goal or anything. But apart from that, it was kind of a solid game from Hugo.
Yeah, standard Hugo.
Moving on to Serge Aurier, we gave him a 9. Absolutely sensational performance from the Ivorian. I've been calling for him to have like a run in the side for a while now. I know he's had his injury problems and his wanting to stay problems and all that kind of stuff, but you know, he's in the team now, he's knuckled down, and what a great performance. 2 assists, one can argue one was a goal, but you know, obviously it wasn't given to him. Assist from the own goal and an assist for Son's goal, but what a cross that was.
Unbelievable ball. And I don't think even with Aurier, I don't think we've seen a right back dominate the right hand side, like right hand side, for a long time. And it was something really great to see, you know, that having a player dominate that right hand side, that sort of Serge Aurier did. Absolutely fantastic, and we really needed performances like that if we're going to be pushing on this season and not see that hole at right back that everyone was worried that was going to be. Obviously, Carl will completely start the season at right back in a decent way, nothing too amazing, not too great either, but I think if we have these performances from Serge Aurier on a consistent basis, we could even be seeing an upgrade at right back.
I definitely agree. I always thought that Serge Aurier was a better player than Kieran Trippier, but what a difference does it make to have a right back in our team that can actually cross a ball? I know we had Trippier that cross a ball, but he didn't do that last year, let's be honest. But especially this season, we haven't seen
someone with real pace, someone who's willing to dominate that right-hand side.
Exactly.
We haven't seen that in a while, and hopefully he can continue that. As Pochettino said, the important thing for Serge now is not having one good game and then being inconsistent, keeping that consistency and that intensity. And it'll be interesting to see if he plays or rests him on Wednesday night in the Champions League. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Danny Rose. We gave him a 6. I think a decent display from him overall, but he did struggle in his tackles a lot of the time. He was getting yellow cards and he did nearly get sent off in the end, and we had to take him off for Ben Davis, which otherwise he could have caused us a bit of a problem.
But that's what we love about Danny, his passion.
Yeah, well, you don't want to see any red cards. I love that. I think he wasn't as dominant as Serge Aurier was on the right-hand side, but he did contribute quite well to the team, and I think it was a step in the right direction in terms of how he has started the season, because he's been pretty poor, and I think he should be a bit worried in terms of, I thought Davis looked quite good when he came on. I was quite impressed with him, but I think it was a step in the right direction for Rose. Defensively, didn't get caught out as much, although he probably, you would say, didn't have as much defending to do. Yeah,
I would say he dealt with Zaha really well. I thought he stifled Zaha to a very limited amount of chances. I thought it was a much better display, like you said, from him, but look, there's always room for improvement, but it's a step in the right direction. Moving on to Toby Alderweireld, we gave him a 9. Absolutely sensational performance from Toby. We've been banging on for a while saying Jan Vertonghen's been our kind of standout centre-back for the last couple of years, but this season it's all Toby.
Agreed.
Jan Vertonghen hasn't really been up to scratch.
Well, he hasn't played, has he?
No, well, he played this game, played last game. He was in against Arsenal, wasn't he? But you know, his performances have dropped a little bit, probably to do with injury or something. I don't know what it's to do with, but Toby is definitely looking the better of the two at the moment, and that assist for the goal, absolutely, like,
it's been a while since we've seen one of those from Toby.
What a ball that was.
Unbelievable, pinpoint right on a penny. Yeah, unbelievable long ball over the top from Toby Alderweireld, and he was doing it all day long, just pinging those balls on a play for every player to be picking up. And I thought it was absolutely sensational. Roy Hodgson picked up on it as well. He was talking about how the passing from the Tottenham centre-backs, mainly Toby, was just so hard to deal with, and they probably don't get the praise that they should get because they're centre-backs and, you know, they get time in the ball and all that. But when he's in that kind of mood, Toby Alderweireld, his passing is absolutely a delight to watch, and I thought he was really on his game on Saturday. Probably his best performance of the season. I love to see that from Toby Alderweireld. I thought, over the past year or so, we haven't seen too many of those passes from Toby, and it's really great to see him back in the groove. And hopefully, look, there's always whether he'll sign a contract or not. I'm glad he's got these performances back in his locker.
Definitely, and I'm so happy for Toby to get these performances back because people have been saying, like I just mentioned before, that Jan's a better player than him. I would say they're on par. It's just Toby's playing better at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. All right, next up, Jan Vertonghen, we gave him a 7. Not as good as his partner Toby, but I thought a pretty solid display. He was he didn't have too much defending to do, but anything he did, all the counter attacks, he was defending pretty well. He left kind of the setup of attacks to Toby Alderweireld in this sense. We didn't really see too many surges forward from Jan Vertonghen, but I thought it was a solid display. Not many complaints in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I've got not much more to say on Jan. I mentioned a bit before that I thought Toby was a lot better than him, which he was. But yeah, competent display from Jan. Probably, I thought it was a step up from performance from the Arsenal game. So it's a step in the right direction as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to Harry Winks, we gave him an 8. Much better from Harry Winks. He started the season slow, got back into it against Arsenal, but this performance is definitely his best performance of the season. He was causing that Palace midfield trouble time after time, forward passes, retaining possession, winning back possession. That's exactly what we want to see from Harry Winks.
Yeah, and it was that quick passing that was been missing, I think, at times this season. A lot of the times been labouring on the ball and just waiting for an option to appear itself. But this time he was quick, he was sharp.
With purpose.
Exactly. He knew what he was doing before he got the ball. He had a picture in his mind, you could see it. And, he was heavily involved in that third goal, playing a lovely ball out wide to Serge Aurier. And he was giving, as you said, Palace no end of problems in that centre mid. They kind of found it hard to deal with his quick passing, and that's the Harry Winks we like to see, especially against a team like Palace who are going to sit deep and they're going to look for a counter attack. You need players like Winks to be on it and not be labouring on the ball and to be passing it, getting the ball out their feet and releasing it quickly, and that's exactly what he did. He did his job to perfection most of the game, and I'm so happy that he was putting in those kind of performances because he did have a bit of a laboured start to the season, but he looks like he's back to his sharpest best.
Yeah, and all these gooners coming out after the North London derby saying Guendouzi's better than Winks. Do me a favour and behave yourselves, please. Did you see Guendouzi on the weekend? He was awful. He was losing the ball on the edge of the area. Look, let's not talk too much about Arsenal because it's all about Tottenham, but I just wanted to get that out there.
The Winks would never have done what Guendouzi did on the weekend as well. All right.
It's not like Arsenal to talk before they won the game, you know what I mean?
Anyway, moving on to Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 7. I think it was a pretty good display from him. I think he kind of played that destroyer role in the central midfield. Yeah. A lot of the time he was winning the ball in that centre mid, and he was setting up attacks, he was surging forward. I was quite happy with his display. Obviously he's got a lot of competition with Ndombele coming off the bench and looking decent, and so he's going to be worried for his place. But I thought another good display from him. He kind of kept things simple, he wasn't too far forward where, against Arsenal and other teams where he's had these shooting opportunities and been blazing him over the bar. It wasn't that kind of display in this game. I think we had those forward players, so his job was just win the ball and give it to those and players, and I think he did it pretty well.
I think when Moussa's given a simple job, just to pick up the ball, win the ball in midfield and pass it on. Do a few surging forward runs, retain possession and keep possession. When he's given these kind of simple jobs, he's absolutely brilliant. It's when he overcomplicates things, that's when we see a few mess ups from him. But, he kept it simple against Palace, and I thought we reaped the benefits. Moving on to Christian Eriksen, we gave him a 7. I thought it was a competent display from Eriksen. He was pulling the strings in midfield, trying to make stuff happen the whole time, looking for Sonny, running in behind all the time. I'd just like to see him take a few more shots and better end product from Eriksen for me.
Well, there wasn't enough decisive moments where look, he was great at knitting the football together, and he was like a big part of the sharp football we were playing, and he was doing a good effort for the team. But Eriksen's strength is in those decisive moments in and around the final third, whipping that final ball in, getting that final shot in. That wasn't really what he was doing in this kind of game. But seeing as we had other players stepping up, he kind of didn't need to. He was kind of taking a back step in this kind of role. It was interesting. We kind of saw him on the left hand side a lot of this game. It was more Son centrally, and he was kind of on the wing.
That was interesting, actually, wasn't it? We'll get on to Son when we speak about him, but it was interesting to see how them two were switching positions like like pretty much all game.
Yeah, I think he did a good job, but obviously he'll have better games, he'll have more decisive moments, but I think this kind of game he was just kind of supplying for his teammates in a team kind of sense, and I thought he did a good job. We can't really complain.
Yeah, we called for Eriksen before the game to supply that moment of magic, but we didn't need it, did we?
No, we didn't, not this time. Yeah, not this time.
But yeah, let's go on. Erik Lamela.
Yeah, next up, Erik Lamela. We also gave him a 7. Also a good display. He carried on his very good start to the season with another goal, a nice easy finish at the back post. He was getting involved as well with the team. I think this game really was a team effort in terms of how quick and sharp the whole team looked, and obviously Lamela was a big part of that. His aggressive, intensive pressing as well, massive factor for our quick start coming out the blocks. And I'm happy. I'm really happy that he's continuing his good form. He gets a lot of stick from Spurs fans all the time, and so he should really get the praise he deserves when he's in good form. And another goal for him, not putting his tally at, I think it's like 2 goals and 3 assists if you count the one against Villa as an assist. And so I think he really has made a good start to the season, and I think it's so important that players like him and Lucas are contributing, it's so massive for the team, because you always got players like Son and Eriksen and Kane. They're always pretty much consistent.
We haven't even mentioned Dele yet this season.
We haven't mentioned Dele because he hasn't played, but I'm saying Son, Eriksen and Kane, they do pretty much consistently contribute in an attacking output. But when you got players like Lamela and Lucas also stepping up, it all really adds to the squad. So it's massive when Lamela's getting in on the act.
The one thing I like to say about Lamela is that I feel like he always starts the season well. He always starts the season well and drops off. So I don't think this is anything. An injury, I don't think this is anything new. But he needs to keep it up consistently over the space of a season. I think that on the weekend we brought back our pressing game, which we hadn't seen in a while, and I think it was a big thing for our success, that pressing game, and Lamela was a massive part of that.
Yeah, he's great.
All right, moving on to Heung Min Son. We gave him a big fat 10. Absolutely amazing display from him. Palace must hate the sight of him.
Yeah, literally.
They must hate the sight of him. He scored 2 goals, probably could have got more. He was causing Palace literally problems all day long. He looked so dangerous. He was just absolutely everywhere, on the left flank, on the right flank, through the middle. He was just causing them nightmares all day long. What a finish for that second goal, that volley.
Both goals, I thought,
and his first goal was a carbon copy from his goal last season, wasn't it? Or was it 2 seasons ago?
No, last season. First game of the lane.
When he cut inside and then just hit it on the near side of the post. It was just absolutely sensational display from Sonny.
And he was actually involved in all 4 goals because it was him who led the charge, and he played it out wide to Aurier, who got the own goal, and then he played it out wide to Kane, who got the assist for Lamela, and obviously he scored 2 goals, 2 really, really well taken goals, 2 lethal finishes, I thought, both on his left foot, which is kind of, he's a 2-footed player, but showed how 2-footed he is, because his left foot is just as strong as his right foot. And I thought it was a moment, it was a genius move to play him in the centre. A lot of the time, it wasn't actually, because a lot of the time when we play Son in the centre, he kind of plays on the shoulder, trying to run it behind. But he actually kind of played quite a deep role, and he was actually picking up the ball from deep and running at the back 4 and kind of stretching their midfield and kind of stretching their defence as well. And it worked an absolute treat. And they found it so hard to pick him up. And I thought, obviously, he did play on the shoulder to get that goal for the first goal, which was fantastic. But his movement was constant throughout the game, and he was dropping off deep, and I thought they found it so hard to deal with him, and I thought he was absolutely sensational throughout the whole. That first 45 might have been the best 45 he's ever played for Tottenham.
Yeah, when he's in that mood, he's completely unplayable. You struggle to find a defence who can cope with him when he's on that kind of form. But keep it going, Sonny. Keep it going.
Is he our best player when he's in that kind of form? You could argue.
I think maybe most effective player.
But like and Roy Hodgson as well pointed him out for specific praise, saying this guy, we just couldn't live with him in that first half, and Palace really, really struggled. And he scored in. I think every home game he's been at the Spurs, he scored against Palace, I think. So he has a great record against them.
Nice one, Sonny.
Last but not least, Harry Kane. We gave him a 7. Decent display from him. He got that assist for the 4th goal. Lovely ball, really lovely ball across the face of goal to Lamela, right on his foot. Gave him an easy tap in. That wasn't an easy ball. I was like Eriksen-esque. That cross. I thought,
but people don't give Kane enough credit like that, because he is a great cross. I know Roy Hodgson. It was against Roy Hodgson as well.
Corners.
Roy Hodgson kept telling everyone 2 years ago, he's the best. But
now we're seeing it. But Kane had a good display. Shame he didn't get on the score sheet. considering we scored 4 goals. But I thought he, again, did a good job for the team. I thought he held the ball up really well.
Yeah.
I thought Sissoko and Cahill struggled to deal with him a lot of the time. But it's just a shame he didn't, like, I can't remember too many shots he even had. So he was kind of doing a job for the team. But I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, like you said, I think his hold-up play is the key point there. I think he really helped bring down the ball and like bring others into play. I thought it wasn't a great display in terms of, like you said, having shots on and that kind of stuff, but he did a great job for the team.
All right, and Pochettino, I think we should give him a 9. I thought he got absolutely spot on.
Absolutely spot on.
Completely, yeah. I thought that apparently he had an hour team talk with the whole team before the game, telling them that they really need to refocus. They need to get their act together, and if we're going to have a successful season, even if it's their final season, everyone needs to be pulling in the same direction. Clearly, that worked because I think he was definitely sending out a message, starting all the players who had uncertain futures in the summer. I thought he played an absolute blinder, and I thought him putting Son in that kind of free role in the centre was an absolute genius move.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that it goes a long way because Poch goes at, we've spoken about it before, but he said at the end of the transfer window the squad is going to be a lot more settled. He's going to be a lot happier, the squad are going to be a lot happier, and you could see it on the pitch. You really could. Our best performance of the season. It's the first time in a while we did that pressing game, that fast attacking.
I haven't seen us press like that in a while.
With purpose, you know. And it's just what we love to see about Tottenham. And you know, if we can carry on with these performances, there's not going to be very unhappy Tottenham fans anywhere.
It was reminiscent of those of our last season at White Hart Lane. Those performances when we were battering in the first half an hour, we would blitz teams.
It was breathless, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that first half
it really
an hour.
was. We were so sharp and so effective. And as I was saying, it was like those performances in the last season at White Hart Lane where we would just blow teams out of the water in the first half an hour, go 2-3 goals up, and then kind of take a foot off the gas in the second half. We did that in this second half, but I don't blame the team because we were 4-0 up. What do you expect? And we got a lot of games coming up.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to be creative with his team selection on Wednesday, which I'm not sure what that means, but that's what he said. We'll see what that means. But I think
KWP will come in.
He's going to be licking his lips at the fact that we got 4 goals. We were absolutely dominated. We had such a strong bench as well. Lucas, Dele Alli, both on the bench. And Ndombele also he got some game time, and Lo Celso's obviously out injured. So he's going to be so happy with the options he's got at his disposal. And I think there's a lot to look forward to now for Tottenham this season. We can keep up these kind of performances at home. Get those performances back and keep getting results against the bigger sides, which we have been doing. I think we could be in for a really good season. I'm excited. Hopefully, whatever happens with players in the future, that can just be, hopefully they put that out of their minds till the end of the season, just focus on Spurs. And, you know, if they have the season that they can have, those moves will come. So there's no point like just resting on their laurels and downing tools or anything like that, because it's only going to hurt themselves. So I'm happy Pochettino realises that. I'm happy he's got that message across to the players, and I'm looking forward to what the season has ahead.
Yeah, that's the key point, is just to put these things at the back of your mind. Don't worry about them until something can actually change.
And even Aurier said he I think it was even today or yesterday, said he wanted to leave. It had nothing to do with Pochettino or Levy. He said, but the personal reasons he wanted to leave, but it didn't end up happening, and he's now going to be fully committed to Spurs, and he wants a big season. And he had a really great game. I really hope Aurier we see more of that, because that's the Aurier we know that can be, and we haven't seen that enough from him.
And a special mention on the substitutes: Ben Davies, Ndombele, and Lucas Moura. Well, he came on 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Ben Davies when he came on. I thought he looked really sharp, and he was dribbling past a few players. He had confidence on the ball, and he's going to have a big part to play, being rotating with Danny Rose. Ndombele had a pretty decent cameo as well. I thought he looked good. He was injured, so he's got to get back into the game fitness. But I thought it was a good move from him. And Lucas Moura, didn't see too much of him. It's a shame for him. I feel bad for him because he actually had a good start to the season, and then he's not starting games, and he's been in and out of the team. I reckon he'll start on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think he will start on Wednesday. But that's the thing. Like, we've got a big squad now. We've got a lot of good players in this squad, so you can't play everyone every week, and we've got a lot of games coming up. So he's definitely going to be used.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you can't on one side complain that we don't have enough players and not a squad, and then complain that, we have all these good players on the bench and they're not getting enough game time. It comes with having a good squad. Look at the players City have on the bench, not getting time. And so I'm happy with, it's a good selection headache to have, and I'm happy those squad they were available, and they did a good job for the team.
And it's something Pochettino's never had at Spurs as well, because every year we've kind of had maybe one player on the bench that we can bring on. Now we've got a host of players.
Yeah, which I agree. I think it's 100% the strongest squad we've had since Pochettino's come. And obviously, people look at the fullback areas. But if Aurier can keep putting in performances like that, there's no reason why we can't even say we've upgraded at fullback if he's going to be playing like that for the rest of the season. Oh, sorry, if he's going to be playing like that for the rest of the season. So I think it's a good times hopefully ahead for Tottenham. But we'll see. Look, it's one game. It is Crystal Palace. Despite them having a good record against big sides away from home,
fourth in the league before that game.
I know, but it's 4 games in, and they aren't the best team in the world, are they, Crystal Palace? So we have to temper our expectations. But it was just great to see that performance, and we hadn't seen in a while. We just hadn't seen that.
100%. And also, it's also good because these teams usually cause us problems at home, and they didn't this time. So it's just great to see. But anyway, we fly out to Greece tomorrow for our Champions League trip to Olympiacos. So catch out for all the content revolving that game. Like, subscribe, comment below. Tell us what your player ratings are. And as always, come on, you Spurs!